Posted by you/Saman Frustrates. This is a bit of an unusual situation, but I'll try to explain it as best as I can. The story involves me, 24F, my best friend Caroline, 23F, my younger sister Nicola, 19F, and our mutual friend/groomsman Daniel, 28M. I'm using real names because I know Caroline doesn't use Reddit, and if anyone who witnessed this happens to see this, I'd love for them to get the actual facts of the story. So, over the weekend, a very good family friend of both my family and Caroline's family was getting married. Caroline and I have been best friends for years. We met when we were toddlers, our moms are best friends, our sisters are friends, etc., you get the picture. We knew that both of our families would be invited to this wedding, and we had been looking forward to it for months. It's important to note that Caroline's family and my family have a ton of mutual friends, and this was going to be a very large wedding. The guest count was in the 500s. Everything was going fine and dandy until Caroline got completely wasted. She kept talking to me about how hot one of the groomsmen, Daniel, was and how she'd had a crush on him for years, but he showed no interest. This was probably because he was in a serious relationship and had been dating his current girlfriend for about 6 years. The girlfriend decided not to attend the wedding because she didn't know the bride and groom very well, and since Daniel would be a groomsman, she wouldn't see him much either. Fast forward a couple of hours, and Caroline is hanging all over Daniel. She's constantly asking him to dance with her, get her drinks from the open bar, etc. She's blatantly throwing herself at him, and it was embarrassing and painful to watch. I tried intervening a couple of times to get her off him, but she snapped at me, and at that point, I decided it wasn't my problem. Furthermore, Daniel wasn't completely pushing her away. He looked like he had a few drinks in him as well and seemed somewhat interested in Caroline. I decided that if he didn't care, I certainly wasn't going to. If he wanted to throw his relationship away, it was none of my concern. I didn't witness this next part, but by the end of the night, Caroline and Daniel were doing you-know-what in a different room of the hall. Yes, it escalated quickly. To their misfortune, someone, I'm not sure who, just that it was someone's mom who knew Daniel and his girlfriend but didn't know Caroline, walked in on them, and for some reason, Caroline told this woman that she was Nicola, my sister. I don't know if she was embarrassed, drunk, or what, but she purposely identified herself as Nicola so Caroline herself would not get in trouble. Word quickly spread that Daniel and Nicola were caught doing it, and Nicola was mortified. People were talking about how disrespectful, home-wrecking, rude, and disgusting Nicola was. I honestly can't even blame them. Had I not known better, I would be thinking the same things. On top of that, Caroline had gone around actually telling other people that it was Nicola and confirming the rumor she started. The bride and groom were pissed, everyone was talking badly about my sister, and Caroline seemed not to care. In fact, when I confronted her about the situation at the wedding, she straight up denied it. Had Daniel not confirmed that it was Caroline he was hooking up with and not Nicola, I might have even believed her. The next day, Caroline texted Nicola a half-hearted apology about the whole thing, saying she was so drunk and didn't know what she was doing. The text included a lot of lols, so I'm not sure how seriously Caroline is taking the situation. She doesn't seem to realize how mortified Nicola is. Nicola genuinely thinks that her life is ruined. We live in a very tight-knit community, and a lot of people have heard the false version of what went down. I'm at odds with what to do. Up until this point, Caroline had been a very good friend to both me and Nicola. I'm just not sure if I can forgive her for this, especially considering her lack of awareness about how bad the situation really is. Should I dump her, or should I give her another chance? Our friendship will be different regardless. My family sees Caroline in a completely different light now, so even if I forgave her, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the same things we used to, hang out at my house, do things with my family, etc. What should I do? Edit. At this point, a lot of people know that it was Caroline with Daniel, not Nicola. However, I'm not sure how many is a lot. Our family friends know, but there were a lot of guests at the wedding who knew Caroline's family better than they knew mine. I'm sure some of these people still think it was Nicola. Another issue is that Nicola is also terrified of the potential ramifications from Daniel's current girlfriend. I have absolutely no updates on the situation with the girlfriend. I don't know her well, and I don't know what Daniel has chosen to share with her, if anything at all. Edit. Because a lot of people are asking me how I could even consider remaining friends with Caroline, prior to this experience, she was honestly a great best friend. Of course, we've had our ups and downs like all friends do, but she has always been a kind and caring person, and I really valued our friendship. I've known her my whole life, and the evening at the wedding was very uncharacteristic of her, including her coming onto a man who was in a relationship. Throwing away a friendship with someone you've been close with for 15 plus years is extremely difficult. However, I am prepared to do this if it's the right thing to do. Commenter. If Caroline wants to continue your friendship, she needs to make this right and tell everyone that she lied. If she doesn't, then I would personally cut ties. Being drunk is no excuse for what she did. I think Nicola needs to stand up for herself as well. She should be very clear with people that she would never do something like that. Tell her not to let someone else ruin her reputation. If Caroline won't set the record straight, Nicola, you and your family can. Ops response. Thanks for the suggestion. I hadn't actually considered asking Caroline to go public and own up to the situation. I think I'll do this. I honestly have no idea how she will react. Caroline is usually a decently moral person, but she also hates confrontation, so I wonder how she'll take it. My family and I have been trying to set the record straight, but it's really hard to undo a rumor that has spread to so many people, many of whom we're not that close with, especially because nobody actually wants to talk about it to us directly. Most of the talk happens behind our backs, but of course, we know it's happening. Update 6 days later. First off, I wanted to give a huge thank you to everyone who responded. I definitely did not expect such a large amount of help and guidance from everyone. This community is awesome, and I really appreciate everyone's time and advice. Unfortunately, I couldn't respond to very many posts since I left the thread overnight, and by the time I woke up, it was locked. So, I figured the least I could do is provide an update. So, about a week and a half ago, Caroline casually called me and asked to sleep over. She wanted to attend an event downtown, and my place was much closer to the event than hers. At this point, it became very clear that Caroline had no idea anyone was upset with her, despite the fact that Nicola and I hadn't spoken with her since the wedding. I told Caroline that I didn't think her sleeping over was a good idea, and when she asked why, I brought up what happened at the wedding. She laughed and said Nicola needed to grow up and get over it, and it really seemed like she expected me to agree and laugh along with her. Well, Reddit, I took your advice and let her have it. I told her how selfish and inconsiderate she was, and that if it truly was no big deal, then she should have no problem taking full responsibility for her actions and publicly acknowledging that she was the one who hooked up with Daniel, not Nicola. I told her she needed to make things right because Nicola was still mortified over something she didn't do. At the end of the phone call, I gave her an ultimatum: post an apology to Facebook and spill the beans about what actually happened, or our friendship was over, thanks to the Redditor who suggested this. To my complete and utter surprise, she did it. I thought it would make me feel better, but people were actually commenting on her Facebook status, commending her bravery and the fact that she did the right thing. I was super annoyed because, of course, she would never have done this had I not forced her to. But at the end of the day, Nicola is happy, and her name is in the clear. Oh, and an update on Daniel and his girlfriend. According to his Instagram, they are happily together. Whether or not she knows about Caroline, I don't know, and I don't care. Not my train wreck.